All right, guys, so it's been a minute. I've been on the Necro. I gave you guys a fantastic farm build. I also have a new summon build that I'll be making a video on here shortly, but I had to show you this video right now because this build is insane for single target damage for raids. If you want to top the charts, this is by far probably the most damage I've done on a single target fight on any class in a minute, and it's on the Necro. Let's get straight to it, guys. So I'm going to show you the build in action, then we'll break it down. It does utilize a lot of dots, a lot of primary attack. The set gear is so critical, so we will cover that. Same with the Paragon tree. Every bit of this build intertwines with itself incredibly well. We're going to do a 30-second DPS check. The first thing I'm going to do, just to make sure it's consistent, I'm going to put this down just so I can generate at least one corpse, and then I'll wait for it to come off cooldown before I actually jump in and start doing the DPS test. So we got 3 seconds, and then I will start attacking. All right, so 3, 2, 1, and go. So we are just going to generate a little bit more corpses, and you're just doing massive damage, lots and lots of buffs. We are just keeping up with all the damage. This build is so good for single target. I would not recommend utilizing the ult that just popped up at all, actually. So I see little to no value there. But yeah, this build goes hard in the paint. Almost done there with the 30 seconds and stop. So 48.5 mil damage, averaging 1.6 damage per second. Let me take a quick little snippet of that. Honestly, very impressive. Oh gosh, I messed up. Very impressive. Again, highest damage I think I've seen on my account in a while now. Again, your damage will differ depending on the legendary gems you're utilizing, your set gear, all the different things, right? Your secondaries. Like, there's so much that goes into damage, but I'm actually very impressed with myself a little bit with this damage. So, and it can only get better. So let's talk about the build as a whole entity. So it is basically a dot and clear removal build, 0 summons, and focuses on just buffing your primary attack at all cost. So first is Studied Menace, the headpiece, which is giving us corpse lamps, causes enemies to decay, dealing 5,373 damage for 3 seconds. And then the chest piece is Bloodless Hierophant. Bone Wall now conjures the Altar of Dead, increasing your damage while you remain within the area. Okay. And then we're using the Necrobod Skulls. I'm just going to stop trying to read these names because I'm sure I'm about to get roasted in the comments. Bone Armor also increases primary attack speed by 28.5%. For the pants, we are Grim Scythe now triggers all continual damage on the target it hits, causing them to instantly take the remaining damage. Okay. For the main hand number 1, we're using one of the newer ones, which is Grim Scythe now empowers you with Grim Calling, causing your primary attacks to unleash slashing scythe when they hit enemies. Grim Scythe damage increased. Main hand number 2 is Blight Maw, which is Bone Spear also applies poison. So again, we're getting that dot damage. Offhand number 1, Silvered Wings. So Corpse Lance now consumes nearby corpses to empower your primary attack for 5 seconds. While empowered, your primary attack will also launch a penetrating lance that deals increasing damage for each corpse you consume. So the more corpses there is, the more damage it does for your Corpse Lance. And then the offhand, unfortunately, secondary offhand, we don't have one at all. That goes with this build, unfortunately. So that's kind of, I hate builds like that, but this build is so good it doesn't even need it. But man, if they ever introduce an essence that could go with this build, it could go even more insane. Now, like I said, the set gear is super critical in the build. So I'm using a 4-piece Vithus for increased duration, as well as the increase the target's attack speed by 30% for 3 seconds each time you use a beneficial effect on yourself or a party member. Then I'm using a 4-piece Shao Bass. So for the primary attack damage increase, again, the majority of our damage is coming from primary attacks. And then I'm using the 4-piece because your primary attack gradually increases your attack speed up to a maximum of 25%. So max attack speed is the name of the game. And then, like I said, the Paragon tree is also pretty relevant. We are using Weaver. You could also test it out with Ranger, but I think Weaver is netting more damage for me personally. Let me go ahead and just add that point slot there. Guys, I'm actually loving this build. I can't wait to use it on raid tomorrow night, actually. That's crazy. But yeah, so let me know what you think about this build. It is very good, and it's very easy to utilize. You basically just face roll your keyboard and single target damage the whole time, and no summons, which means that you can use the set gear, at least for me, on multiple different classes, which is super ideal because those summon set pieces are such a pain in the butt because you really can only use them. Well, I guess more classes can use them now because of the new essence that came in the game, but realistically it was just the Necro for the longest time. So that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about the build in the comment section below, and again, I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you in a video soon. Take it easy.